Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Ben Errez, co-founder and chairman of Nasdaq-listed GreenBox POS, to discuss the latest trends in blockchain's use for payments and where he expects the industry to go in the next 5 years. Ben, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me on today, Jill.
Tell us about GreenBox and the company's private and proprietary blockchain-based payment platform. What solutions are you looking to provide?
So GreenBox is a unique company. We not only have a 100% blockchain ledger-based payment processing solution, but also we have as one property out of that infrastructure, a stable coin that is attached to the US dollar and has a few additional properties that I suspect we'll talk about in a minute.
So let's talk about that key differentiation for a moment. What is that from other financial payments technology and other blockchain companies? Expand more on why it's unique with the stablecoin.
Got it. So the future of payment is very clear. It's all about stablecoin. What is not clear is which underlying minted currency will prevail and what will be the regulatory oversight governing this industry. So we all know that the proposals on the table are to provide regulatory governance for stablecoin as a bank, as a security, or as a commodity. And different agencies will have a battle on who will potentially regulate it or join a combination thereof. Additionally, stablecoins will have a few mandated features. So, for example, are we going to do real-time audit or just 30-day attestation as we have today for the custodial compliance? Are we going to introduce or include consumer protection principles as a transactional necessity? We think that we do. So when you ask about the differentiation and positioning of GreenBox in that industry, this is exactly what we provide. We provide stablecoin that is both custodial and transactional. It is allowing the real-time and continuous audit for the platform, and it is consumer protected minded, and the only stablecoin that allows reversal of transactions.
What's the strategy behind GreenBox's stablecoin spin-off company Coiny, and why select Miami for Coiny to call home?
So it just so happened that the crypto alley is in downtown Miami. Miami was always minded to crypto. The mayor was the first pushing for a special coin for the city. The first one to include blockchain as a form of payment for city bills and taxes. And we see that strategy working for the city. We just as an example, we open our offices for Coiny in the middle of Brickell Avenue, which is Crypto Alley, and we're on the same floor as the exchange that now owns the Miami ballpark, and blockchain.com is the floor above. This whole building is just set up for that. Now, in terms of strategy itself, Coiny is set up to be a viable replacement for bigger entities like Venmo, like Circle, like Tether, and to be a true viable replacement for these entities, certain things need to happen. It needs to have a commercial focus, which is why we set up that entity as a wholly owned subsidiary, leading to an IPO of that entity later on. It needs to have its own capital structure, its own financial ability, and what is most important is to have enough of a adoption and utilization to reach this escape velocity that we define as maybe $500 million to $1 billion per month in utilization, to be at the same order of magnitude as these other entities. This was our thought, and the next step in that thought process is to get to that escape velocity of adoption in the same time frame as our planned IPO and what we perceive as the first generation of regulatory oversight coming to this industry and in great alignment with our own technology.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You would think, in years past, finance was in New York, venture cap was in Silicon Valley, and now Miami really is the next generation of technology and finance, with all the activity that we're seeing down there.
Yes, that's right. It helps a lot that blockchain itself is without geography or time zone. This is why it's so effective as a payment processor, because it doesn't have border to be concerned with. It doesn't have a holiday schedule. It's always on, it's always backed up, it's always custodial, meaning there's always a one-to-one ratio between the trust account held by a federal bank and the number of tokens in circulation, which is something that we don't see from the next two large coins, USDT and USDC are both non-compliant in that sense.
All right.
So blockchain is the greatest thing ever to come to payment. It's the greatest unifier. All economic systems around the world will get there if they're not there already.
All right, Ben, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, Jill.